buddy.
Oh shit! Every time, every time. So, howdy there, internet, and welcome to Nerd Night Perspectives. Jonathan here, as always, with my lovely co-host Matt,
Aw.
and we are here to revisit the topic of Kevin Smith,
More
the one that
margaritas.
started it all. Our first ever episode we actually aired was Tusk, and so Kevin Smith particularly has like a special place in my heart, even more so because of that.
Yeah.
Besides just what our childhood, and all that.
Especially appealing to our generation, Fucking
Yeah,
Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob and all that shit.
yeah. Well, and when we did Tusk, neither one of us had seen Tusk before. We just knew about it, seen maybe a couple clips or two on the internet, and it was it. I didn't. That was the first time I'd seen Kevin Smith do a not because because I really only at the time knew him from like Jane Silent Bob, Dogma, Clerks, all that stuff, and so like seeing Tusk just blew my mind. Are you sure this is a Kevin Smith movie?
There's some of these Kevin Smith movies that surprised me. I'm like, that was Kevin Smith? I didn't.
Yeah.
Like Zack and Miri making porno. Like, yeah, in retrospect, I can see it. Or Cop Out, I can see it. But like,
right.
I didn't really know that was him at the time. But
yeah, that one was wild. So the movie we're going to be talking about is Red State. But I would like to ask you, what would you say your favorite Kevin Smith movie or movies are? Like, what do you like? We're talking Kevin Smith. What if you had to pick one, maybe two?
I actually really think I did really like Tusk a lot, and I think that really kind of took the top for Kevin Smith for me. But this one also really, it's very unique. I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this. It's hard to really explain. But this one really
even the genre is like up for debate. It is a hard to place movie.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no margaritas in this, but I'm still down with it. More margaritas.
Come on now. I would say definitely. I'm like torn between Tusk and Dogma.
Dogma. I still have
Did
yet to see Dogma.
You haven't. Okay, Dogma's hard. First of all, it's kind of a pain in the ass too, because you can't really stream it because all this crap. Basically, Harvey Weinstein got the rights and then sold them, and they're like shoved in a locker somewhere.
Yeah, I noticed.
But you can still get it on DVDs and stuff, but I don't think it's streaming anywhere. So
well, I get the premise of Dogma, and I also seeing this movie right now. I'm starting to think that maybe Kevin Smith has some opinions about organized religion.
I don't know. He made George Carlin the priest in Dogma.
The guy who worships the sun.
But I honestly I do really highly recommend Dogma. As far as comedies go, dude, I think it's his funniest one. It's at least got the best commentary, it's like, religious commentary, all that. I don't want to go too much into it, but Dogma, hella cast, hella crew. It is my top. It is definitely tied for first place with Tusk as far as my favorite Kevin Smith movies go. So
yeah, no, I mean,
we got to check out Dogma.
Dogma. I want to check that out too. Just like the name alone, Dogma has a very evocative message within the name, and going with the subject matter of it, it plays a lot into what this movie is, I think, really a lot about. And I don't know what. How do you feel like this movie is best enjoyed?
Well, I first of all, like coming into it, because I came into it with Tusk in my head.
Yeah, I heard it was a horror movie, so like I was definitely.
Well, it was a horror movie. The main guy, Michael Parks.
Michael Parks, yeah.
The actor Michael Parks. He's the main bad guy-esque.
Yeah.
In both this and Tusk, I was expecting Tusk, but this was before Tusk. This is Kevin Smith. In fact, this is actually, I think, officially Kevin Smith. This Kevin Smith's first horror quote unquote movie.
Real departure from what he's known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this movie here, Red State? So I mean, he had to make Red State in order to balls up to Tusk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which
And and Tusk is the only reason we're ever going to get Moose Jaws, if that ever actually happens. But I digress.
let's hope.
Um,
Let's hope there's still
the
time.
Holy Trinity. But this, so expect more action than drama. Sorry, action and drama than horror. You know.
Yeah, it's a different flavor of horror. Which is nice about horror is horror can come in a lot of different versions, but it's not your
And
typical. Yeah.
we want something unique. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like horror, not just horror movies, but most movies, but genres in general, they're just kind of almost like factory made, like the
Yeah,
same
they
crap every
have
time.
a formula that they stick to, and it's not as inventive. Where this one, it definitely was something more inventive, and it pulls a lot from our own history. If you
Yeah,
like, if you're interested into things like Waco, the Waco
yeah,
situation,
yeah,
huge inspiration for this movie, I
yeah.
noticed.
Yeah, I would argue the other inspiration I know would maybe, I mean, obviously Waco's the huge one. I mean, this whole movie is basically Waco on crack. But
Yeah.
Charles Manson,
Charles
you know,
Manson, yeah.
especially when he's singing the songs and like, you know, they're all kind of in this like lull almost, you know, hypnotic state just before they start doing the killings. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know, there was something when we talk about the music mixed with religion, mixed with murdering. It really did give me a little bit of Charles Manson vibes.
Yeah, well, I mean, this being like kind of like a family of yokels and stuff like that is kind of it is
Yeah,
interesting. They all have their own kind of like weird spirituality that they get from this. It's
yeah.
very weird. It is definitely like they try to put it all on a lot on the Bible and their scripture, but this is definitely like you having to take a lot
Well,
of bad faith reads from the Bible to really come to this conclusion for these guys.
oh yeah, I think the biggest one is when they basically they're killing these guys for sodomy or whatever, you know. But he justifies them killing them because they're saying that they're not actually people. So he's literally excusing himself from
Yeah.
"thou shalt not kill."
Yeah, you could
Um,
definitely see the Westboro Baptist Church influence on this story because I believe that was like the catalyst of this story was like he met someone or he watched a documentary on the Westboro Baptist Church and was like, yeah, that guy is a cute little grandpa that just heart's full of just hate. You know?
yeah, yeah, he's like your uncle, but when you hear him, he's like, you know, a complete tyrant.
Yeah.
This movie had a low budget, actually a really fucking low budget. I can't remember what the actual numbers were, but I do know that they're okay. So, they had a $5,000 effects budget.
Oh, okay.
Um, in fact, Kevin Smith wanted to have a ram's head placed on the guys before they got executed, and they couldn't do that because the ram's head would cost roughly $5,000.
Yeah, they are not looking around the right
and,
people. You just go around to some
well,
rednecks
he
and be
was
like,
trying to get
"Here,
it produced.
I'll give you like $50 for that, and they'll be in a movie." Oh
Right.
shit!
Well, that's just it. So I guess I should just try to break it down right now. So
Mhm.
so basically, from what little understanding I have from just watching random YouTubers
Mhm.
fucking talking about it. So my understanding is that he tried to pitch it out, get producers to get it. No one
Mhm.
would bite. He thought that that meant he was doing something worthwhile in
Mhm.
traditional Kevin Smith mentality.
Mhm.
Um, which he was right. Anywho, um, almost no one. He was thinking about producing it himself. And then he ended up. There's two people that ended up biting onto it. Well, they ended up getting 8 producers all in all, but I don't know. There was like two big people that ended up pulling up enough money to get it going, and everyone had to take a huge budget cut, including John Goodman. Everybody had to take a severe budget cut.
Yeah. Well, I
In
mean,
their
they must
pay.
have. They really wanted to be in this movie, so they're willing to do that. It's interesting.
Exactly. Because Kevin Smith is good for showing. I mean, he does this intentionally, showing us that you don't have to have a huge budget to make these great films. But
Yeah.
the one thing a lot of us don't have that Kevin Smith now does, is really famous friends.
Yeah,
where he
true.
calls on Johnny Depp or calls on John Goodman. I was thinking he can get big names for low cost, in a way a lot of other indie movie makers can't.
Yeah, I think he brought a lot of appreciate, or at least more attention to the indie scene that I think a lot of mainstream audiences wouldn't, they weren't really vibing too much. Like a lot of mainstream audiences don't really follow indie as much, but Kevin Smith being one of the champions of it, I think that he was an influence, and good or bad,
Oh,
whatever. But
still is.
yeah,
He like I said, I mean, just this alone. I mean, it's encouraging people to make their own cheap movies.
mhm.
You got 10 grand and good friends. We
Yeah.
got good cameras nowadays on our
Hmm.
phones. You can make it happen.
Well, speaking of some of the people that were in this too, we had a lot of like names in here. We had like fucking uh obviously John Goodman's like probably the biggest one. Melissa Leo, Michael Parks, who I honestly still very underrated. Will forever be underrated because he's dead now. But um, Nicholas
I actually
Braun,
didn't know that.
yeah, he died in 2017 is what I recently found
Oh
out.
shit, I didn't know that at all.
But we had
I get. I guess he was in From Dusk Till Dawn.
was in Dust from Dust Till Dawn. That was the first time I ever seen him, and I didn't think he'd ever be something else. We looked that up. We saw that when I was a kid. We could see where he's from, where the actors are from, and I saw that he was from where I grew up in California. Is where he was from. He's from Corona, and I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool." I bet that guy's never gonna do anything else in his career. And then it turns out, a couple years later, he ended up doing these movies, which is really cool. And actually, From Dusk Till Dawn was where he got recognized by Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Um,
And yeah, and then obviously Quentin Tarantino, enjoyed both of those.
yeah,
He played in From Dusk Till Dawn, and he claimed to it that this movie Red State was one of his favorite movies of the year.
it's high praise from Quentin Tarantino because that dude watches a lot of movies.
Yeah, made half of them. No.
Yeah, maybe. But he
um,
also Kevin Smith was able to get a hold. He got Nicholas Braun, who is in Succession, who plays a great character in there. Who I really liked. Michael Anganaro and Kyle Gallner, who are also the kind of the main characters in this series in this movie. Um, Matt Jones and Anna Gunn, both who were in Breaking Bad as prominent characters. Obviously, Anna Gunn being Skylar White, Matt Jones being a bit more of a side character. Badger, if you remember Badger from Breaking Bad, he's that meth head in there, one of Jesse's friends. And
I was gonna say which one? You got to be more specific in that show.
the tall
Unfortunately,
one.
I'm only a few episodes in, but I did recently start watching Breaking Bad, so
Well, he's the
hopefully I'll get the next reference next time.
he's the moron that was shooting the bow at them as they're driving away. He's just kind of an idiot in that show. But I liked Badger in there. Matt Jones is good. Stephen Root, who is more recently in Barry, another great show. He was more probably I think more people know him probably from Office Space though. Um, him and his red stapler. My red stapler. He's more of a comedic role. He plays a lot of comedic roles, but he definitely played more dramatic in this one. I felt like he was underutilized in this, to be honest. Stephen Root's pretty solid. I really like Stephen Root, but and also Anna Gunn was also really underutilized too. I think, but I think that was almost part of Kevin Smith's intention. This movie, don't go into this movie trying to expect, like trying to predict the plot, because there's so much of this where it just curves and curves and curves. The the movie does not go in a very predictable manner. Um, the
No.
perspectives shift a lot, and I think that was really something that I really liked about this movie was how unpredictable it was.
Yeah. And the movie also like obviously brings up the topic of guns, you know, gun control and Second Amendment, and that kind of talking point in the beginning as in a theme through the rest of the commentary. Through the rest as a commentary of like
especially
gun use in America. You know.
especially with the lens of also the ATF being involved because um, they're heavily involved in this movie, the ATF, and
Yeah,
again,
just like they were in Waco.
just like in Waco. Yeah, this is so much of like a Waco 2.0, but wilder. Um,
Yeah, there's no good guys. There's
yeah,
no one you can root for. You know.
I think this was great for Kevin Smith because this was like something that he really did delve into the grayest I think he's ever done in a movie with a good guys, bad guys, very muddled. None of the characters are really particularly likable. I liked
Yeah,
John
even
Goodman's
Tusk had
character.
like even the nuanced ones you still felt bad for. This one, even yeah, I feel bad for the boys getting killed and stuff, but like,
They were kind of
I mean,
douchebags.
they kept leaving each other for dead on the
Hmm.
escape. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Just like a lot of stuff like that. Like, there really was no good guy
yeah.
in this
They
whole fucking show, except for maybe John Goodman.
John Goodman trying to do the best he can with a shitty situation, but even him, you see, I. But I think overall, John Goodman probably was the best morally good character, and that woman who was trying to get the kids out, also. Two, the only
Right.
ones that you could really say are the ones you could really root for.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it was accidental, but she killed her own mother. You know.
Whoopsie.
Um.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. And she did point a gun at her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing was just wild. I couldn't believe. I mean, like, dude, the ATF just absolutely purely executing unarmed people, like surrendering, just wanting to get out of there.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
And
that was, I couldn't believe it. Like just straight up, it was massacre. You know.
so when I think about this movie and I think about its inspirations, I can't, like, early on I was just thinking like this is like I feel like this is like an inspiration from Devil's Rejects from the beginning of Devil's
Yeah.
Rejects. Kind of felt like a very similar situation in the
I think I've
beginning.
heard people reference that before. I saw
Yeah.
Devil's Rejects a long time ago. I can't really
Well,
comment on it. I
in
can't
the
remember it now.
in the beginning of Devil's Rejects, it opens up with a police standoff in a house, and they're all just shooting. The police are shooting at the psycho murderers that are Rob Zombie's little family that he made. Um,
Yeah.
and I do think honestly, I know Green Room came after this, so maybe Green Room took some inspiration from this movie a little bit because I just felt like little bits of Green Room in this movie, which was a really good movie, by the way. Good horror movie, using doesn't rely on the supernatural or really a lot of the same tones, but it was a really good A24 horror movie. Green Room is, and Anton Yelchin is in it.
Noted.
Noted, yeah. Imogen Poots also in it. And oddly enough, Patrick Stewart too. They got Patrick Stewart in there.
Really?
He was great in that too.
Sir
Um,
Patrick Stewart.
So Patrick Stewart. Yeah, my bad. I didn't put the respect on his name, dude. But yeah, I felt like that
Uh,
was big inspirations there, or inspirations that carried on to other movies. Were there any
yeah.
inspirations that you saw? Because I did want to mention too. Kevin Smith, when making this movie, wanted to make something a bit more in the vein of the Coen brothers and Quentin Tarantino himself, which I definitely see the inspirations. I think this is definitely like Kevin Smith's best attempt at a Coen Brothers movie, best attempt at a Quentin Tarantino movie. I definitely feel like he leans more into the
Right?
Quentin Tarantino aspect, but it still has Kevin Smith's voice in the story.
Yeah.
More than anything else, more than any other influence. So I like the originality of that, but
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know I was talking that gun thing earlier. I was just trying to say that the whole movie kind of almost brings up this commentary on like both civilian and military / law enforcement gun use in America.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, even when you
Um,
bring up that woman, that girl, she pointed a gun at her mother, not safe use of the gun, and it obviously does not work out for her. But I felt like that was a really good commentary in its own subtle way. I think that Kevin
well, they
Smith.
say the most dangerous gun is the one in your house.
They say that, yeah.
Um, I don't know.
People say
Well, just
that,
people
yes.
just well, first of all, anyone can get a gun, there's no training unless you want to do hunter safety, but even then that's super minimalistic.
You should. You should still
Um,
do training for it. You should.
well, and that's just it. That's just it when we talk about commentary and things. When everyone untrained,
Hmm.
is using weapons of war, against each other, and especially when we talk about those, because they were using fully autos. They were even talked into that they were modifying the weapons, which is very similar to what happened with at Waco. That's how the ATF was even getting involved in the first place, was this talk of having not only large armament, but it's been modified, likely to be like fully auto and stuff like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and again, I'm not saying anything politically like opinion wise. I'm just saying that this movie does kind of bring out these kind of points.
Yeah.
um of like, because we see that, and then because we're just talking civilian, and then we see the ATF just slaughtering people.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of these things where it's like, man, like I don't know. It's really hard to say, but there's no one that's responsible with their weapons in there, except for maybe that kid that was surviving, who was
Mhm.
gonna start shooting people, but he knew that they were like just grieving and whatever. And instead of trying to shoot and whatever, he just ran away. But then him holding on to that gun is what also kind of got him shot by
Mhm.
the sheriff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, really, no one's being responsible with these weapons. Is really the only point I'm trying to make.
Right, right.
Even these so-called trained officials.
Anyway, you want to get into the do you want to give us an overview of this
Yes,
movie real quick?
yes, yes, yes. So, um, some high school senior types get dropped off.
Yeah, some like
A high school
30-year-old
senior type gets
high
dropped off at
schoolers.
school. Yeah, right. Sorry. He sees a group of angry religious extremists that are protesting funeral, who was murdered, found covered in plastic wrap in a dumpster behind a known gay bar. And obviously, we later find out that's the one in the same, that they killed that same kid and then protested his own funeral
Mhm.
of a kid that they murdered, which really goes deeper into just how fucking cynically fucking evil these people are, or hateful, I should say.
Yeah.
They have so much hate and disdain, for someone they don't even know, a kid.
Not enough that they killed him, but they also got to protest his funeral because he's gay.
Yeah, they got to make a scene about it too. That's how much they can get away with it. They can draw that much attention to them and that dead kid and still not get caught. So this high school dude, him and his buddies decide to go meet an older woman who wants to have all three of them at the same time.
Nice.
On the way over, they hit and run the sheriff, who's in an unmarked car, and the sheriff was getting like head from another man. Um, we also find out that the sheriff's an alcoholic, but that's like another thing. Our
Mhm.
our, our, our three gentlemen here, they end up meeting this girl. I'm trying to remember the actress, because she's actually kind of a bigger actress. I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, she's Melissa Leo.
Yeah, what's she in?
I think she's an
Because I
Academy
know
Award.
her from something. I can't articulate it.
She got an Academy Award winner for the movie Fighter. With that had Christian
Hmm.
Bale and Mark Wahlberg in it. It was back in 2010.
Oh, she was Diane's mother in BoJack Horseman.
Was she?
Apparently. But I can't. I'm having a hard time figuring out what I actually know her from. But I know she's big. Anywho, they meet her, and they end up getting drugged up, probably Rufalin or whatever,
she
roofies.
she was also in Prisoners. Movie Prisoners. She's in The Equalizer. Olympus has fallen. London has fallen.
Anywho, so she drugs them, our boys, and they end up in like one of them ends up in a cage, and the other two are tied in saran wrap downstairs or cling wrap or some kind of I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of saran
Um,
wrap, plastic
right, I
wrap.
don't know. Yeah, and then right. Um, so eventually they get brought up and read their sins, and people, well, they bring up someone else before who was there before them, who I think who's gay or whatever, and they executed him after like reading off his sins and whatnot. A cop ends up showing up, a deputy or whatnot.
Badger.
Yeah, and one of the two guys below ends up escaping, leaves his friend for dead. And meanwhile, the pastor's trying to talk his way around the officer, because the officer was talking about the car hitting the sheriff and
Hmm.
whatever. He blamed it on his granddaughter. Um, and saying that since no one got hurt, he can take care of himself without legal quarrel, which just continues to show just how much influence he has over like the sheriff's department.
Hmm.
Just like further showing that.
Passed his speech check on that.
Yeah, he did. And it works. But then like one of the hostages and one of the pastor's men shot each other and killed each other, and the officer heard it and immediately
Mm.
starts calling for backup. They kill the deputy. And then the pastor immediately starts blackmailing the sheriff because he knows the sheriff's gay. He was talking about either sharing it to his wife, who was going to divorce him, or sharing it to the courier, or the news or whatever. Which because sheriffs are elected officials,
Hmm.
and this is 2011. Being gay wasn't even legal in all the states.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely.
and so being gay was a political issue in certain areas.
Hmm.
So he completely just blackmailing this cop, being really nasty, calling him Mr. Queer, and just like we're just really hateful things, and kind of just rubbing it in his face. The sheriff thinks about killing himself and instead calls the ATF, and more specifically John Goodman, our guy. I can't remember what his actual name is in this. Do you remember what his character's name was?
I Joseph
I'll just
Keenan, but I don't.
I'll just keep calling him John Goodman.
Just John Goodman.
uh, yeah. And back to the place. So one of the other guys pretended to be a dead corpse, so it looked like there was two dead and one dead of him. And so he used that to try to escape. He gets a
One dead of
firearm.
him.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Anyway,
He
whatever.
plays dead, and he's able to kind of get a gun, and he can able to try to make an escape.
Yeah, yeah. And when he runs out escaping, he ends up getting shot by the sheriff.
The fucking local boob.
Yeah, which starts off the whole thing. It's the official. I mean, there was gunfires in the house, but none of them were pointed at the sheriff or the ATF. Um,
Actually, a lot of the people in the church didn't even know the ATF was there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the neighbors didn't either. It seemed like nobody did.
Which is rather odd because they knew that that one cop was there pretty early on, but then when the whole ATF shows up, they're like, "Oh, what? Where do you guys
Right.
come from?"
Yeah, and then the pastor actually starts kicking off the return fire.
Yeah, just going to town, dude. They're all like a big fucking shootout, church versus ATF, and
You know.
that's for a large part of the movie is just the shootout and the chaos of that.
I mean, and that's when we see like, that girl requesting to save the kid. She almost gets shot, and the dude, the ATF agent tries giving her a revolver, making it seem like, that he had every right to shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like really fucked up stuff.
Yeah, because now the
Um,
ATF is trying to save face on this because they got to make sure there's no witnesses, and they could.
so this whole thing's gone completely out of control. This is a lot of what we see in Waco.
Yeah.
Again, this is just crazy. This is Waco 2.0, like you said. And the pastor's daughter executes the agent and saves the girl who rescued the last standing hostage in hope that together they can save the children. But she ends up accidentally shooting her own mom, as we talked about, in front of the kids, the very same kids she's trying to save, and it was their mom.
Mhm.
Um, so that was the whole thing. The kids had to hide in the attic, which, I mean, if it went like Waco and the whole building burned down, it would actually be a disaster. But thankfully that didn't happen.
Mhm.
Chaos ensues. People die, including the sheriff. Uh, an ATF agent literally murders our like girl and who was trying to save the kids, and the guy who was the victim this whole time just kills them point blank. Like no, like literally without hesitation, just kills them. Oh, there's you
Yeah.
okay, sir? Like they literally weren't doing anything. Like as if he
Unarmed,
saved
hands
John
up.
Goodman.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then that's when Gabriel's trumpet ensues. And actually, what's funny about this is that there was actually Kevin Smith actually had a different ending written down. I don't know if you know about that.
Oh yeah, I did hear
Um,
about that. Do you want to save
okay,
that for
cool.
the end and just cap off this
Okay,
part?
yeah, we can. Okay, so basically, they all drop their weapon. So they hear the Gabriel's trumpets blaring. It's just this
I
loud
think it's
trumpet
the
sound.
fucking raptures started, dude. They're
Yeah,
like
they literally believe the rapture started. They all drop their weapons and go outside. For the
Dude, he
rapture.
was like dancing his way up there too. Like
Yeah,
Michael
I
Myers was
know.
like,
He's
"Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
fuck yeah.
Hallelujah.
Second coming. Here it is."
Right here. We did it. We did it, guys. And even then, an ATF agent still killed one of those guys, and they were actually unarmed this time.
Yeah. It seemed
um,
very opportune for that moment. I
right?
yeah. Anyway, so I'll let you finish. I'll let you keep going
It's
because
okay.
I
It's
got
okay. I'm
things to
almost
say
done.
about that scene.
So the pastor goes on a spiel about wickedness and the rapture, whatever the fuck. He gets insanely chest to chest close with John Goodman, asking him to shoot him.
Yeah.
Uh, and then we just get a cut to John Goodman explaining to the higher ups that he headbutted the pastor and arrested him and everyone else that was still alive. And explains that the neighbors were playing those sounds to mock him in the church, and they didn't even know that they were there, and it was just dumb
Mhm.
luck.
Mhm.
And John Goodman gives this like actually pretty compelling speech about
Oh, I love this
nature.
monologue. Yeah.
Yeah, about dogs killing each other over entitlement or belief.
Mhm.
That over like we'll kill each other over what we think you know
What we're
we're
entitled
entitled
to.
to or what we believe or
Mhm.
we kill
Yeah.
our own friends, kill our own neighbors, turn into animals like we never thought we could be.
Yeah, because at
And
that
it
point, John Goodman was given leave to kill all these people, and he chose not to. He disobeyed that
yeah.
order, and he brings up that monologue as like kind of a reason why he didn't. And I thought that was really powerful. Really made me love John Goodman's character, even if he was a
Oh
Fed.
yeah. Like I said, I think he's the only quote unquote good guy, and he's a Fed. Yeah. And then it just cuts to the pastor in prison speaking his usual craziness, and so relievingly, someone tells him to shut the fuck up. Something I think everyone was thinking.
Yep.
just shut up.
Just shut up, dude. Fucking weird religious. I was kind of worried that he was going to start inspiring his own little revolution in the prison, and then someone told him to shut up, and I was like, good, thank God.
Yes. Yes. And I think they made some kind of reference about him, ironically getting tons of gay, prison rape in there.
Yeah, they're talking about coke can fucking cocks, dude, going up his ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking brutal. The only real, I think, critiques that I could really say really didn't work for me as much. Well, not didn't work for me. It's just I felt like I was kind of bummed. Is like that Stephen Root's plot line, the sheriff, the local sheriff, kind of just dies unceremoniously, which it works for the story. But I guess I felt like there could have been more explored in his character because he's a gay sheriff. He has a lot of stakes involved with this very homophobic church. I see that Kevin Smith definitely wanted to do something else with this. So it still works as a story, but it was kind of a bummer to just see him just kind of just go out like a fart in the
Yeah,
wind,
well,
you
I mean,
know?
the original ending was supposed to be that after Gabriel's horn went off, our pastor's head was supposed to
Right.
explode, and everyone else's, all the other church people's heads were supposed to start exploding.
Hmm.
And John Goodman was supposed to, like, close his eyes and cover his ears, and then when he opens it, there's an angel like
Just
slaying all of
slaying him.
them.
Just the Doom guy from glory killing the fucking Westboro Baptist
Yeah,
Church, dude.
yeah, but obviously, like, if they can't afford a ram's head, they can't afford
Mhm.
that ending.
But
So,
it still does, even with that ending, it does kind of leave Stephen Root's character rather an underwhelming story beat that didn't really ever get any
you
resolution.
know,
I mean, in a way, it still works with the overall story that Kevin Smith wanted to tell with it, of course, because
right.
he was not a main character, and arguably there are no real main characters in this story.
It's pretty well shared.
Yeah, it's very well shared out. A lot of screen time is shared. The Bonehead kids, they were good. I really liked their the way they were played, but like, god damn, watching that first beginning scene where like the kids in the cage, and I'm like, dude, you could get out of that cage really easily. You just kind of chew through the fucking saran wrap that's wrapped around your wrists, and you
Well,
just
even then, it
unlatch
was
and run
more about like
away.
even wiggling the cage or like because he was in front of an entire stage of people.
I'd go for it,
You
dude. If
know,
I'm gonna die anyway, I might as well make a run for it. That's the way I see it. All he managed to do is pull the blanket off of himself and expose himself and just kind of show, so he could see everything. But like, I would have tried to
yeah.
run, dude. I would have tried to get away. I
Well,
think.
that's the irony is that the ATF actually killed two out of the three of those boys. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
it wasn't even the church; it was actually the ATF that time.
I know. Yeah.
Um, some cruel irony in that.
Absolutely. Um.
My only real critique I had was it felt like there should have been more. I felt like I won more. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, not necessarily the pastor rambling at the very end, but like his monologues. I'll be honest, dude.
They kind of
Freaking,
dragged, huh?
I know the opposite. I felt like
Oh.
Michael Parks kind of stole the show.
I'm glad you think so, because for me, I was just like, all right, we get it. Jesus this, Jesus that, the Bible. And we're
No,
going to take some
yeah,
very strong misreadings of the
but even
Bible.
more than the religious aspects, just dissecting the psychology of a
Hmm.
madman.
Well, he chewed up the
Like,
scene every chance he got. And I did like that. But his monologue kind of dragged for me. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
some of them were a little much. I remember like the gun scene with his daughter and them chit chatting was a little much. But his actual, like, not like in the middle of a fight monologues,
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were calculated, decisive,
Mm-hmm.
and always worked in his favor.
Yeah.
He almost interpreted himself as God.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, you'd have to with that kind of psychology of like that, the way that he interpreted the Bible, and I mean, he would have to think of himself as seeing right more than the Bible actually did, and or at
which
least the
is,
modern interpretation.
blasphemy, right? And there's
Right.
a bit of irony there.
Hmm.
Hypocrisy at the very least. Um, but I liked his scenes, and I think that's what Tusk was. Tusk gave us because I'm wanting just a little more depth into the psychology of a madman
Hmm.
in this show, in this movie,
Well, yeah,
and we do get that from the same actor in Tusk.
Michael Parks absolutely chews up every bit of scene that he's in, and is great. And he's just so comfortable and so confident in it. He's great as this pastor. Um,
He almost feels like someone you would know, you
yeah,
know.
he did a great. Yeah, I feel like I've been in some churches where a
And he
guy
doesn't.
was just
He
like
also
him.
kind of reminds me of the pastor we see in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay,
that we
yeah.
did on just a little bit of that, using like this religion and your power and influence over these
Well,
people. Not necessarily, not in the same way at all, but I don't know. Maybe
you
I'm
you
I'm
you
reaching, but
definitely see why Kevin Smith used Michael Parks again in Tusk because he was absolutely an underrated actor.
Dude, yeah, actually, I want to say I don't know about Tusk, but when they did Red State, if Michael Parks died during Red State, like there was that what if,
Hmm.
and Kevin Smith said he'd just throw out the entire movie, Red State. He wasn't
Yeah,
even going to do Red State if Michael Parks couldn't, if Michael Parks wasn't around to do
yeah.
it.
It's hard to say who would replace him because he did. And like you said, it is like someone you'd known. I've been in the churches, guys have talked just like him,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I've
it's a
seen
lot.
occultism around these parts.
Yeah, it's a lot of that power that you can get as an interpreter of the Word of God, and he
Especially
totally.
around people that don't read it themselves.
Yeah, yeah, and you know
Just
what the
take your
thing
word
is,
on it. It says it
he
right here in the Bible.
yeah, he chose to be more of an authority in the Bible and an active participant, whereas, it's not for people to judge others. He absolutely did feel that way. So kind of going back on what you're saying about, like, yeah, he definitely felt like he was God. He was kind of empowering his people to think like him, to think like, I have every right to judge these people. But it's not something that is really in the Bible, That's not something that you should be. You are not God. God judges those the
It's like
gays.
he's without sin cast the first stone kind of stuff,
Yeah, yeah, and it is kind of like he was just so good into that, impersonating that kind of character, and I liked that.
Absolutely. And both Red State and Tusk.
And Tusk,
I
yeah,
couldn't think of a better madman.
yeah, he definitely just
Absolute lunatic.
absolute lunatic, absolutely
Like
Cameron
a
just.
cartoon character that just came out of an insane asylum.
Well, I,
Like,
I like how he's got these weird grandpa vibes, like this cute little weird grandpa that's just like he does his little, oh, you're so strong,
you
oh,
and
oh,
Popeye,
yeah, do
like,
Popeye, oh, and it's just like, oh my god, that is a real person I've
and then
seen,
he'll turn around and say something like really racist, sexist, or homophobic.
Yeah,
Like the next
yeah,
sentence,
yeah, yeah.
like cute grandpa just got fucking dark. Like,
Michael Parks understood the assignment and nailed it, and I'm really happy for him to do that. But for me, the only thing is like the monologues went a little long for me for his pastor rant because I mean, for me, and that's just me. I'm just a
well, that's why
fucking.
we got the shut up for the ending.
Mm, mm-hmm.
It was for that exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
What you're
And
talking.
yeah, the only other thing I
It,
could think is too. Those idiots, dude, when they got drugged, dude, if you go out to a trailer in the middle of nowhere and someone's just feeding you beers and telling you need to drink these to fuck me, that's like, I mean, first of all, I probably wouldn't have went, but like, you'd
all
think
the
at that
alarms
point,
went off in my
yeah,
head.
all red
Like,
flags, dude. I don't care how young and horny you are, dude. You'd have to be like, I might die here. This is that survival instinct has to come in. Um, and I think also Stephen Root just being very melodramatic about his storyline made me think it was gonna be more, but it was a lot of melodrama for something that wasn't going anywhere, and I kind of that's my only critiques. But as
that's
far
fair.
as
That's fair.
but I think that's it for me for complaints, for me whining
Yeah,
and
I felt
complaining and
like it could have been
complaining.
a little longer, but I'm happy. Well, what it was, and like I said, this was really an unspoken precursor to Tusk. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
the sense of Kevin Smith needed to make this movie in order to be able to make
So,
Tusk.
so far,
You know.
I don't think there is another movie like this. And
Well, no one wants to
it,
touch Waco without just straight up doing a documentary on Waco. You know,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked how they did paint the ATF as bad guys. That was a really good way of kind of showing
Dude,
like
everyone was a bad guy.
hmm
Everybody.
the Waco
Like I
people
said,
weren't
with
cool.
maybe the exception of John Goodman.
Maybe the exception of John
But one
Goodman.
good ATF agent, when 10 of them around you are killing everybody, isn't doing anybody shit.
hmm But going on to favorite parts though, fucking John Goodman just yelling at Stephen Root for shooting the first shot, dude, like that, like killing that one innocent dude. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, I loved that. Where he's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" Fucking takes the gun away from him, throws it to one of his boys, and he's like, "What the hell's the matter with you? You have any idea what you just did? You just fucked this whole situation up." Now they have
Yeah.
kids. They have kids in there, which are now hostages. And I was like, "Good." That is like
Yeah.
the
And the
gravity of the
sheriff even like
situation.
stumbles and falls, showing that he's probably drunk
Yeah,
during this whole thing. He's literally just being a drunken idiot. And just
drunken
complete
idiot.
complete incompetence,
Yeah,
from an elected official.
yeah. Absolute bonehead. And the cinematography too for when that one kid was trying to escape, it was so good. It looked so frantic the way he was just running from room to room, touching on all the doors that were locked and bolted. The franticness, the way the camera was moving and just so fucking shaky. I and this is like I think that Patrick H. Willems is a great analysis on Kevin Smith's films and about his cinematography, but he does not bring up Red State, and I think this was an absolute. That was an absolute. Maybe it's because it was just such a. He didn't fully commit to a lot of these decisions, and going the horror route and more serious movie route is why he doesn't bring it up. But this was good cinematography for Kevin Smith. This was. It
Oh,
had. It
it
felt
was.
like you were there. The
It felt like
intensity.
it. Part of the reason why I feel like it felt like an action movie wasn't just because the action that went on in it.
Mm.
I mean, the angles, the
Well,
atmosphere.
the use of lighting and it does remind you it is a horror movie, but it's just a
Yeah.
different type of horror movie. And all I could think about was how frantic was the word that I could feel when that kid was just
Well,
running around trying to escape. Both of them were when both of them were trying to
yeah.
escape.
Well, and some of the bigger action scenes in the standoff honestly felt like Quentin Tarantino himself was directing it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
the way some of that went down. I don't know. It was amazing
hmm
cinematography. For what this was. I mean, they had it all down.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. This is like something that is not often talked about in Kevin Smith's resume is that this movie is definitely like kind of like yeah, sure, there's Tusk, but this is kind of like this is the black sheep, the one that really separates a lot of his other movies, you
Especially
know,
at the time.
especially at the time. So good, and honestly, when you're talking about how the real ending was supposed to have angels and shit like that when the horns are blowing, dude, I thought this was about to be another unpredictable moment where shit was about like the real rapture was about to happen and I was
Right.
so there for it. I wished it would have went that direction. I'm glad. I still think the movie was good for what it did, but the when the horns were blowing, dude, I was like, oh my god, are the dead gonna get up? Is something about to happen about the rapture? And I would have been so there for it if it did. I
I do
was
kind of like in kind of like almost a nod against religion. It was just like, nah. That
nah.
shit was made up. That was just a prank, dude.
It was just a prank, bro.
Don't be so serious.
Yeah, no, I do think that is true. It still
Well, if
works.
you want to see angels killing people, I'm telling you, watch Dogma.
I would have loved to see it though, and I also love the nuances of a lot of the characters of just like even the people that were gunning people down. There's a lot of hesitation there, and there was like a humanness to that. And the girl who's just trying to save the kids, she was just trying to get the kids out of there. She had the plan for how it would work, and it gave you like a sense of progress on like how this story could go if she's successful, and it kept the stakes high. And when she fails, it's like the movie comes quickly to its natural end. And I think that was really good.
Absolutely. No, this movie, like it's, I think part of my problem was is I came in with too high of expectation,
Did
and
you?
that's on me. You know,
I
um,
I came in with like none because I was not expecting it to be this good, to be honest.
dude, I was expecting it to be like on Tusk level, and that's
Yeah.
that's my fault because Tusk was only so high because this movie got him that far. Got him halfway there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, even with that, I loved this movie. I don't regret watching it a couple times. I don't. I can definitely see myself rewatching it in like a few years or something.
Mhm. I
Um, and it
I
was quick too. It wasn't a long movie. It
no,
was like 80 minutes.
it didn't feel long either. Like you didn't feel that length, except for maybe in the beginning where things were slowly building up. But then once things got going, it was like bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam,
I think most
and
mediums have slow beginnings. It's almost
you have to.
impossible not
Yeah,
to
you
without
have to.
confusing everybody.
You have to. I mean, some movies can masterfully pull it off, but there's always going to be a slow part in the beginning because you got that rising action. But this
Yeah.
was solid. You didn't feel the length toward the end, and the capstone, the capping off with the John Goodman monologue was so good.
A good commentary on humanity.
Good commentary on humanity and just like how that system was going to play it off. Like they weren't they the feds, even if things didn't go to plan, they were ready for it. They're like, this guy's not going to see a microphone or a interview or anything. He's just gonna rot away in prison, and get butt raped in prison, or butt fucked
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah. Right.
He's gonna get butt fucked in prison. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still wish that original ending was there because that would have been rad. I was totally there for it, dude.
Yeah.
But
But it also shows that, like, again, like, for the sake of low budgetary cuts, you can still make the closest you can to your movie. And you're going to have to make sacrifices when we talk about low budgets. But if
mhm.
you can just grasp the core, like, I mean, just John Goodman's speech alone,
Yeah, it
like, that
it made up for so
captured
much of it.
so much of the movie.
The fact that they
It,
didn't show him headbutting the guy and arresting him, and then they just chose to just cut to the end. Really good decision.
yeah. Yeah,
Because
it kind of, but also almost didn't feed that hate and violence.
mm, yeah.
It just kind of just shoved him away in a box.
Hmm. It's kind of what the public is going to see of like what his report was is what the public's going to see. Guy came up to him, he headbutted him, he arrested him. That was the end. Um, and it was a little anticlimactic in some senses, but it still works for me. I think it worked as a movie. It didn't lean too much into shock value. I think it was just like it
So
was
that's maybe gore, but even then it was,
it was pretty restrained on a lot of that too. Like I thought. I
yeah.
also
I
watch
think
a
we were
lot of
talking about
horror
me wanting
movies.
more stuff. Sorry, I just realized. I think instead of when I was talking about me wanting more stuff, I think I wanted more of that psychological torture. Like, I mean, that first feeling they got when they were trapped, and
Mm-hmm.
that dude gets executed. I mean, that was just such a powerful moment, and then it kind of just fled away into a standoff with the ATF. And so
Yeah.
we didn't get to delve deeper into this, like I said, that psychological torture and thriller is what we get in Tusk instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I felt like it was kind of missing no, not that I was missing it, but I wanted more. I did. I wanted more of that because they did so good. They made it so because that was the part that made it a horror was the
Yeah.
beginning of them getting drugged and captured and executed or about to be executed.
Yeah. There was a lot of tension, and even when they're trying to escape, there was a lot of that horror there. But
Yeah,
all in
but
all, this movie, I think overall just bums me out that it doesn't. It seems like Kevin Smith isn't going to be making more movies like this.
which is a shame, really.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I like seeing Kevin Smith get. I mean, we see him pushing himself to break his genre or his
Yeah,
usual.
to try.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%, dude.
I
He
just go on.
he was evolving in this stage as a director and a writer, and it's a bummer that he decided to just go with what was more safe. And I think a lot of that comes from a lot of like maybe the direction that the Weinsteins kind of push him into, because they're more willing to market his comedies than his endeavors into things that he was less um, known for. And he has a talent for it, I think. And maybe it's not fully realized here or in Tusk, but given more of a shot, like he has something in his creative sensibility that that fits a horror audience, or fits something that can say more, especially with how
Yeah,
nuanced these characters were in this. Everyone was pretty gray, everyone was pretty morally nuanced and well rounded in this.
yeah. And we still had like an actual moral lesson at the end of it, which is
Hmm.
something you wouldn't expect from like a stoner comedy, writer
Writer,
like,
yeah.
director like Kevin Smith.
Yeah, exactly. And he does not ham fist his beliefs into there. I mean, he definitely has an opinion on religion, organized
Yeah, and
religion,
he
stuff
does
like
put
that.
it there and make it clear, but it's not the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like it's not like closed mind. Like I said, I really need you to see Dogma because that will
mhm,
show you just how much he does expand on
absolutely.
religion.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Absolutely. And
I want to say he was raised Catholic, but I might be wrong.
yeah, well, the very, even just by the character of that one girl who was trying to get the kids out and trying to save the kids, even at the expense of her rest of her family, she knew that was a very morally good thing. He didn't just paint all the religious nut jobs as bad guys. They were people.
They were mixed, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them desperate, uneducated, or you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
I think mostly desperate.
Mhm.
Desperate for salvation or an afterlife. When we're because there's a cruel irony of being mortal. I think the saying goes something like, every instinct in you is designed around surviving, and the cruel irony is, no matter what you do, you never will.
Mhm.
You'll never survive. You will inevitably die, even
Mhm.
though literally everything we do is to try to live forever. Um,
Mhm.
and so that's when we invent things like religion and stuff as a second afterlife. I'm not actually dead. It's the human mind coping
Yeah.
itself into its mortality, away from its mortality. Really, it's like, see, I'm not a mortal figure that's going to die any second. I am going to live forever. You know.
Yeah. I am the right hand of God, putting in justice into the world, and that's my legacy.
Yeah.
But
Something.
to cap things off, do you have any other following ending thoughts?
Well, the last thing I would say, guys, is uh I try not to be so, talk too much on religion, but just try not to be so desperate for an afterlife that you destroy your actual life and the lives of those around you. And more importantly, don't let religion teach you fear and hate. Instead, use religion, for love and forgiveness.
Yeah, because that's what it really is about. It's about
What's
you.
supposed to be.
You're not supposed to be the arbiter of justice. That's God's job. Your job is to be a good person and be a good to those around you.
As best as you can be.
And my final
And
thoughts are
everything else is just being human.
my final thoughts are put up the we're gonna post the pictures of the ATF after the destruction of Waco and see how they handle the situation. Oh.
In the arms of the
Just
angel.
posing with dead bodies. Like, yeah, look at that. We killed these fucking nut jobs.
Right?
Aren't we cool?
20
Posting
kids burned
20
alive.
kids. Yeah.
I can't remember how many. It was a lot.
There's a lot of fucked up government overreach, but again, no real good guys in this situation.
Nope.
Definitely tell you the government wasn't one of them. Wasn't one of the good guys.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anywho,
good
thanks for
movie.
listening, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Love you guys.
Great time hanging. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night.